Hi, I'm Randy. Welcome to The Simple Chef. Today I'm going to be making a basic 7-layered casserole, commonly referred to as shipwreck.
Legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up for dead when the skies of November turn gloomy.
If you grew up in my generation, and I think you're probably familiar with shipwreck, this layered casserole, it was quite simple. The ingredients were simple. It was all one dish, so there's your whole meal in one dish. You can pop it in the oven and watch your afternoon soaps. It was economical. What you're going to need for today's recipe for our casserole is, of course, a casserole dish. You're going to need some ground beef. You're going to need onion, large onion, a couple of medium onions, doesn't matter. A few potatoes, celery, rice, and a vegetable. We'll get into that later. A can of tomato soup, and some paprika, salt and pepper, garlic if you like garlic, and butter or margarine or oil of some sort to grease your pan up first. The first thing I'm going to do is brown the ground beef in a pan. Some of the recipes call for just you to crumble your raw ground beef into the recipe, and some call for it to be cooked. I prefer to cook it, for one thing because mine's frozen, and also I like to be able to drain off any of the excess grease if there is any excess oil. So I'm going to ground up the ground beef, and I'm going to prepare the pan with a little olive oil margarine. Now what you do first, we're going to cut up the onion and layer it in the bottom, slice it thin and layer it in the bottom of the pan. Then on top of that, we're going to slice up potatoes, put a layer of that in. On top of that goes a layer of your ground beef. On top of the ground beef goes a layer of rice, half a cup or so of rice. Some recipes call for minute rice. Some recipes call for cooked rice. Some recipes call for uncooked rice. Again, this is a recipe that has a million variations. I use uncooked rice, small layer of it. I think it helps absorb up any excess juices and absorb the flavor of the soup that we're going to pour over it later, and makes it a more solid casserole so it's not so runny. On top of the rice, a cup of chopped celery, finely chopped up celery, and on top of that, whatever vegetable you prefer. People use corn, people use green peas, people use carrots. I found this bag of matchstick carrots at the store, and I thought that would be perfect for this, so that's going on. And then you're going to top it up with a can of soup mixed with an equal amount of water, poured over the top of the whole thing. It's going to go in the oven for a couple hours at 350 or so. I'm going with 350 for 2 hours, but I'm going to keep an eye on it on that second hour, make sure I don't overcook it or burn it or such. Alright, so first, ground beef. Pan. While the ground beef is cooking, I'm going to start preparing the rest of the dish. First by greasing up my pan with a little olive oil margarine. I'm going to thinly slice this onion and put it in as our first layer. Alright, I have the onions sliced up and arranged in the bottom of the casserole dish. I've peeled and sliced up some potatoes, and I'm going to put in a layer of that next. Then on top of that layer of potatoes, I'm going to add some seasoning, some salt, pepper, and some paprika, and a bit of garlic.
Farther below Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her.
Alright, next I'm going to add a layer of our cooked ground beef. And sprinkle the uncooked rice over the top of that.
The islands and bays are for sportsmen. Farther below Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send.
We are topping this casserole with our vegetables and celery. I'm going to sprinkle on some of the matchstick carrots first. And then the celery. We're going to mix our can of tomato soup with 1 can of water. And we're going to pour that right over the whole thing. Finish off with another topping of paprika, it's a little salt and pepper. Some of the recipes you'll find online say to cover it for at least part of the cooking period. I'm going to do that with a tinfoil top over this because there's a lot of ingredients in there and very little liquid, and I want it to properly cook down. So I'm going to cook it for half the time with tinfoil over it, and take off the tinfoil and let it brown up nicely. And into our preheated oven it goes. And there you have Shipwreck. Wasn't that simple?